Now that you have your Apache server up and running, the discussion turns to how do you set up the site in Dreamweaver to be able to work with a PHP document locally. What we're going to do is set up a testing site. So I'm using Dreamweaver CS6. The process is very similar in Adobe Dreamweaver CC. I'm going to make a new PHP document. What you'll notice is that you cannot tell the difference between a PHP and an HTML document at this point in development. Later, when we start adding in PHP code, is when you'll start to see the difference between HTML and PHP. However, you'll be using PHP code along with HTML tags. So let's set up the site. You may be semi-familiar with this process if you've managed sites before, such as the local site or the remote where it connects to the web server. We're just going to be creating a testing server. So we'll say new site. I'm going to name this PHP Academy since that's the first project we'll be working on. I want to define the folder name, so I'm going to say GA415 PHP Academy. You can put this wherever you want. I'm putting it in my documents folder. This is just the root directory that will house all of your images, all of your assets for the Academy website. Then I'm going to select servers. I'm going to click on the plus sign to add a new server. I want to give it a name, PHP Academy. Since I loaded and installed the XAMPP server on my computer, I want to do local/network. Then I need to go find where it is installed. So I need to go find my server folder. It's in my applications, and it's in the HTDOCS. This is the same for a Windows machine. It may be on the C drive on the Windows machine, but you're looking for this htdocs folder. And I already made another folder inside of there that's going to house my PHP Academy. I want to keep this root directory of the htdocs folder pretty clean. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on PHP Academy, and I'm going to choose it. For my web URL, we leave the HTTP, but it's going to be localhost, all one word, :80/PHP Academy. This PHP Academy is that folder that I named within the HTDocs. This is what the basic tab for the server setup looks like. In the Advanced tab, I want to leave the remote server checked, but I also want to say for the testing server, the server model is PHP and MySQL. We'll be using MySQL later on in the course. I'm going to hit save. I'm going to leave the site, the version controls, and the advanced settings alone. I'm going to check testing, and I'm going to hit save. Down in your files window, that's where you can tell if the site has been set up. We can connect the plug, and that's showing that we have connected to our remote server, which is actually local, is our Apache server on our drive. to test it to make sure that everything is okay, I'm going to put in my code. Now notice I can use HTML tags along with my PHP code. PHP syntax found in Dreamweaver is always red. It's telling me I have an error because I haven't closed the PHP yet. The PHP starts out with the caret, question mark, PHP. That's the tag for PHP. Echo, and we'll talk more about echo in another presentation, but echo is what prints the statement to the server or to the browser. I want to say date. And what's nice is it tells me what type of format I'm going to have, okay, or try to have. So I'm going to do hours, minutes, seconds. And each line of PHP code will end with a semicolon. Then its closing tag is the question mark and the other caret. I can then finish off my HTML as well. So when I hit refresh, the time is now, and it shows a little PHP. So if I've set up my site correctly, and if I hit live, it will ask me to save it because I haven't done that. I'm always going to save my home page as index. And I'm going to hit save. It wants me to know if I want it to update that file in the testing server. Most definitely I do. Do I want to put dependent files up there? Yes, please. So now it says the time is now 2:08:32. I did this by pushing the live button. Without the live, it just shows the little PHP icon. And it's noted by server markup since we're working with a server-side scripting language. Now the one thing I want to show you since I'm here is that if I hit live code, you'll notice that if you do a view source on a PHP page, all the PHP scripting is gone. This is because the script is rendered on the server before you see it in the browser. So it will render the time and you won't see the script. So essentially, the time just replaced that little PHP script that we wrote. So back up to my site, I can manage the sites. I can double click on it, and then here's my site. I named it PHP Academy so that I knew down in my files panel. I picked a folder. I made a folder. If you already have a folder created for the site, you can also send it there. So you could actually browse for it if you wanted to, just by clicking this little folder icon. For servers, I hit new. My server name was PHP Academy, but you can name it what you want. Local network. I browsed for my XAMPP, looking specifically for the HT docs. My web URL, I left the http:// localhost:80. This is the port. If you're not familiar with ports, it's how it accesses the internet. Accesses the network. It's port 80. PHP Academy /. So I have a / PHP Academy /. The PHP Academy is that folder that I made in the HT docs. For the Advanced tab, I have the server model set to PHP MySQL. In the remote server, the maintain synchronization information is remaining checked. Hit save. Check remote, check testing. Leave version control and advanced settings alone and hit save. Then hit done and your site is set up. You may need to hit these plugs together so that it will plug into the server. This is how you set up the Apache server with Dreamweaver to test your PHP pages. There's also a link in the supplemental resources for week 1 if you have any difficulties linking and creating a test server.